Hello, I'm the Commander Zander. I remember it so that a sound critic doesn't have to. And neither should you. And I am back. And I've recovered from my traumatic episode. From, the review of The Sweetest Thing. Which, while we're thinking of it, props to Playboy for pinch hitting and doing the review and finishing up Cameron Diaz month. You get a pass. But it's good to be back doing what I love best. Speaking of back, it's time for another installment of Movie Gladiator! This is a segment where I compare movies against one another. And seeing as how the two Steve Jobs movies have had some time to be out and about, I think it's time to compare the two. Now, obviously, I've already done a review of the Ashton Kutcher movie, and if you want to see that review, I will post a link, because this is one of the videos that got delved into two parts. I will post the links in the description section so that you can see the review for yourself. But I figure it's worth noting to compare the two just to see which one closestly portrays Steve Jobs himself. 3 rounds will decide this one. So with that, let's delve into this battle of the Jobses. Round 1, the portrayal of Steve Jobs. And I'm talking about the look. He has to look like Steve Jobs. Not necessarily act like Steve Jobs, although that kind of ties in as well. But I'm looking towards looks. He's got to look the part. This is what young Steve Jobs looks like. I have pictures to show you. So this is the young Steve Jobs. Here is how the two actors look when they were Steve Jobs in their youth. Look at the resemblance. Ashton Kutcher looks exactly like him. You wouldn't notice the two. You would think this is Steve Jobs, but no, it's Ashton Kutcher. Whereas this guy, well, you can see why he hasn't been in so many movies. But when we delve into the old Steve Jobs, I mean, him in his old stuff, he looks old. Look at that. He's even got the turtleneck pretty much nailed down. You would think that would be Steve Jobs, except way too much hair. Whereas, look at that. Again, kind of looks like Steve Jobs. So I'm giving this round to Ashton Kutcher's movie. Round 1 goes to Jobs. Round 2, the side of Steve Jobs you would least suspect. We all know Steve Jobs is great at, presenting stuff. But you never get to see him outside of his presentations. I fortunately have found 2 YouTube clips, and credit goes to those channels who found them. And obviously, credit for the movie goes to those people responsible for the movie. But I have found 2 clips that'll show Steve Jobs and the side that you would not see from him. We shall start with Ashton Kutcher.
Start over.
In this clip, he's presenting Lisa.
I mean, I wanted to know what you want to do before you even know you want to do it. Wait, are we still talking about the command prompts? Bill, we're talking about everything. The whole thing. Lisa.
I mean, look at this. Steve Jobs. Ashton Kutcher does a great job portraying Steve Jobs.
Lisa's gonna do for the next 10 years.
But then when he doesn't get what he wants, let's see how Ashton Kutcher portrays him.
Now, which tab do I click on to get different font styles? How many custom typefaces are there on Lisa Wright?
That's actually something that I wanted to talk to you about, Steve.
I've been asking for the fonts for months.
But everything we're talking about is...
Notice the impatience. He wants this, but it's too much for the others. And this is where the battle lies amongst them.
Everything is a pressing issue. If we want to make the vision for Lisa a reality, we got to put in the hours and make something great.
Yeah, but we have a hard date on this software, and I'm sorry, but adding pretty fonts is not going to change that.
Oh, you're going to get burned.
If you don't share our enthusiasm and care for the vision of this company.
No. I'm not understanding.
Get out.
What?
Get your shit and get out. You're done.
What are you gonna fire me?
No! I already fired you! Why are you still here?
Notice the anger that Kutcher possesses, which is something you would never suspect for Ashton Kutcher because he's more of the comedic type. It's decent, but let's delve into the other actor and how he portrays the dark side of Steve Jobs. which is essentially what his movie is.
Getting laid off.
Oh, by the way, that's Seth Rogen playing the Great Waz in this movie.
Last year, Apple lost $1 billion. I don't even know how that's possible. You were less than 90 days from being insolvent. I had 3 different accountants try to explain it to me. The whole place has to be streamlined.
Start with 2 of the accountants.
I started with the Apple...
Can you come off stage? We're gonna go
Leave him right
backstage for
there.
a moment.
I started with the Apple II team because we don't, make that anymore.
Just acknowledge the top guys.
Have a mimosa and relax.
You will not blow me off right now, Steve. The top guys...
There are no top guys. All right? On the Apple II team, there are no top guys. They're B players. And B players discourage the A players. And I want A players at Apple and not Dell.
They're not B players, and I'm a better
Less
judge of that.
than 90 days from insolvency. In part because somebody thought the Newton wasn't a box of garbage.
Joe, could you come off stage,
Leave
please?
him.
I'm talking
You
about...
guys designed and shipped a little box of
Look
garbage.
at that anger he
I'm
expresses.
talking about the Apple II, which is not just a crucial part of this company's history.
His anger is so good that he controls and makes Seth Rogen do something that you would never see Seth Rogen do. Because like Ashton Kutcher, Seth Rogen is the comedic type. But look at Seth Rogen expressing his anger. That's something you don't expect from him. And that's because this actor does a great job portraying his anger in that way.
You were built by the Apple II.
As a matter of fact, I was destroyed by the Apple II and its open system so that hackers and hobbyists could build ham radios or something. And then it nearly destroyed Apple when you spent all your money on it and developed a grand total of no new products.
The Newton.
The little box of garbage. You guys came up with the Newton. You want people to know that. This is a product launch, not a luncheon. And the last thing I want to do is connect the iMac
To the only successful product that this company has ever made. I'm sorry to be blunt, but that happens to be the truth.
And it's like he's portraying Steve Jobs as like some robot. Like he's got no emotions. And that's what Steve Jobs is.
Tired of being...
The man has no emotion. The man is like an intimidator of sorts. And he pretty much nails it pretty darn well. I mean, look at that.
You think John became John by winning a raffle, Waz? You think he tricked somebody or hit George Harrison over the head? He was John because he was John.
He was John because he wrote Ticket to Ride. And I wrote the Apple II.
Everybody, I want to clear
Nobody
the auditorium.
moves. You made a beautiful board, which, by the way, you're willing to give out for free, so don't tell me how you built Apple. If it weren't for me, you'd be the easiest day at Homestead High
These
School.
people live and die by your praise. So here's your chance. Acknowledge that something good happened that you weren't in the room for.
And of course he won't, because it's Steve Jobs.
Steve, do it. It's right. It's right.
Sorry, but no.
Let me put it another way. I don't think there's a man who's done more to advance the democratization that comes with personal computing than I have. But you've never had any respect for me. Now, why is that?
I'd at least consider the possibility that it's because you've never had any for me.
What the hell is going on here?
Nothing. Thank you for your time.
And he walks off. Because he can't win a battle with Steve Jobs.
You came a half inch from putting this company out of business. Now, who do I see about that?
Ooh.
I'm letting you keep your job. You get a pass.
Ooh. And how does Rogen respond?
You know, when people used to ask me what the difference was between me and Steve Jobs, I would say Steve was the big picture guy, and I liked a solid workbench. When people ask me what the difference is now, I say Steve's an asshole.
Oh, burn! On that note, I'm giving it to the new Steve Jobs. Winner! New Steve Jobs movie. Which means it's time for the tiebreaker round. The Life of Steve Jobs. Which movie depicted his life from start to finish the best? Well, I'm not going to go into details with Ashton Kutcher's movie because, again, I mentioned this in my review. But pretty much they do a very good job of going from start to finish with him. They go through his entire life. Whereas with the new Steve Jobs movie, it's essentially, they start with him and his presentation of the Macintosh before his downfall. And the transitions are pretty much like, oh, the Macintosh was the bomb. And, oh, Steve Jobs is back. you don't really delve into his life that much. It pretty much starts with when he's presenting the Macintosh based on that Super Bowl ad. And, I mean, yeah, you get to see a darker side of Steve Jobs that you never see before, and you don't really get that with the other one. But if we're going to delve into portraying his entire life from start to finish, I say Kutcher's movie did a much better job of doing that. So with that, I'm giving that one to the Kutcher movie. So by a score of 2-1, Kutcher's Steve Jobs is better. But that's nothing to take away from the other Steve Jobs movie. If you're looking for a Steve Jobs movie where you're seeing Jobs from a darker perspective, that one is a good choice for you. But I personally prefer the Ashton Kutcher Steve Jobs movie better. It does a much better job of portraying his life. And again, I mentioned that in more detail in my reviews. So if you definitely want to see the Kutcher Jobs review, check out the 2 links for the 2-parter. It's part 1 and part 2. And that'll be on my YouTube channel. So I'll leave the links down there for you to take a look at that review. But also post in the comment section your opinion. Which Steve Jobs movie do you think it's better? If you like the other one, explain why. Feel free to tell me why. I'm all open with opinions. So please feel free to post the comments on YouTube on the comment section below. And then also watch my Ashton Kutcher Jobs review. I mean, that'll get you a more deeper perspective of that movie itself. I'm the Commander Zander. I remember something that sounds a great gun to do, and neither should you.